Hey folks, David Stewart here. What I've got in my hands is the beautiful new paperback edition of my brand new fantasy novel, The Water of Awakening. It comes out on July 7th in ebook and in paperback. You could pre-order the ebook down below if you are interested in it. If you're interested in the paperback, I kind of screwed up the pre-order and ended up publishing the book early. Some of you might have what I call the typo edition because I wanted to get a proof here. So here's the proof. But that will be available on July 7th as well. If you want the paperback, please just buy the paperback because you will also get the ebook for free. That's a little bit of value that I like to provide. It's a nice big 16:9 paperback. But what I really wanted to show you today are some of the details I did on the interior and show you how to do one of the details that I did for the interior design. A lot of people don't spend a lot of time doing the interior design for books. I really like to provide like a special experience for people who buy the paperback. I did that with Muramasa, and I'm going to do that with this one. And what you'll notice is right there, that drop cap has a bird silhouette. So for every single chapter, I started with a drop cap, which is kind of standard design. And each drop cap is unique. It has a letter and it has a bird that goes with it. This is not a font. These are individual images or individual glyphs that I designed. And I want to show you how I did these so that you can use them for your book possibly, or any other project you might be wanting to use. Or if you just want to know how to take an image and turn it into a silhouette. The tool we'll be using today, by the way, is Inkscape. So you can do this in Inkscape. It is a free program, and it's actually pretty good for what it is. This is my Microsoft Word document, and one of the things is I split a long chapter into two smaller chapters, so I need a new unique bird image. I've already used this one. This is just a placeholder for design purposes, so I needed to create a new one, and I'm going to create a new one right now and show you exactly how I did everything with every step. So let's take a look at my Inkscape document. This is my big Inkscape document. It has all my little glyphs on it, all my specially designed drop caps. You'll notice each one has a different bird. The font I started with is Airbar Initialen, and I think is how you say it. It's a really, really old font, but I liked it for the drop caps for sure. So that's what I used. You can use whatever font you want for whatever project you happen to be doing. Now, you'll notice each one is a separate little image. Let me show you how I did this. First thing we need to go back to the document and say, oh, I need an H because it starts with the name of the main character, Helga. So I'm going to create an H with my good old text tool. We're going to write H. We're going to select the font over here in the text and font, hit apply, and hit the arrow, hold control, and you can just zoom it on up, make a nice big H. Now we need a raven to go with it. All I did was I went and searched Google for raven. And there's a whole bunch of images. When you're selecting an image for a silhouette, you really want something that's like this. See how you can clearly see the entire, you could see the beak, you could see pretty much everything. This would be a great image to start with. In fact, you probably wouldn't have to do the extra steps. But I want one that's kind of perched, so I've kind of thought this image was cool. This is actually a crow, but it'll work fine for what we're doing here. Crows and ravens have a different profile. Ravens have a bigger head and a different beak, but this will look okay for what I want to do. So I have the image. I'm just going to copy it, and it doesn't matter, by the way, if this is a high-res image or not, because we're going to end up tracing it into a vector image, which can be scaled infinitely. I'm going to go into a blank Microsoft Word document, and I'm going to paste my picture in with Control V. Next thing, I'm going to click the picture under this pink tab, Picture Tools. I'm going to click Format. I'm going to hit Remove Background. What you can do from here is just adjust the part of the image that you want to keep, and it will start to do some sort of auto adjustments to the image. And what you want is you want everything that's not the bird to be pink, and everything that is the bird to be visible. If there's an area that you want to keep, you can hit Mark Areas to Keep, and you can just click on the area you want to keep, and it'll recognize that you want to keep that particular area. So if it kind of cuts off a little too much of the bird, you can do this. If you want to get rid of like the little space in the toes, you can do that. However, because we're creating a silhouette, I don't need to do quite that much detail work. I'm going to say Keep Changes, Control C, copy it. We're going to go back into our Inkscape document, and we are going to paste it. There it is. There's our image. Now, we need to turn this into a vector silhouette. It's pretty easy. We're going to go Path, Trace, Bitmap. Trace Bitmap is the function that you want. It's going to bring up a dialog box that looks like this. Now, we're going to use a brightness cutoff. There's a couple of different ones you can do, but for silhouettes, we're going to use brightness cutoff. And from here, you can just turn the dial up or down to get the appropriate image that you want. If you turn it down, you're going to see a lot more of the details of the shading. As you turn it up, it's going to turn more into a silhouette. So just turn it up until it looks pretty much like a silhouette. If you go all the way to 1,000, it's just black. So you want something less than 1,000. I think this looks good. I'm going to keep it about 800 and hit OK. Now, when I close that, off of the image comes the beautiful silhouette of this crow leaning down. From here, I can decide how I'm going to perch it on the letter. So I can shrink this down or shrink it up. It will never get pixelated because it's a vector, and this Inkscape is a vector-based program, which makes it great for working with text. Now I could perch this guy in a couple places on the H, right? Like I could make him really small, like with the O, and put him in the middle. That's an option. I haven't done that yet, but that doesn't look quite like the design I want. I want bigger ravens. So I could perch him on this left-hand side and have his feathers go off in the margin, which I've done for a couple of these different designs. I'm kind of worried that that might go in the gutter, though. So if I put it on this one, his feathers kind of intersect in a way that I'm not crazy about. I can just flip him around just like this and perch him on this side of the H, and this will go over the text, and I'll show you how to make the text wrap around this nice little image. Once I decide on like where I like the crow or raven image, I'm going to select the crow, I'm going to select the H, I'm going to go path, and I'm going to go union. And from here, now we have one single glyph, just like with all these others, and all we have to do to figure out the design. Now, I am going to skip a step here. What you probably want to do when you're actually designing this is export each of these as a 600 DPI PNG image, which is going to be a little bit sharper for what we're going to do. But just to skip that step because it involves a bunch of saved dialogues, I'm just going to copy the image straight out of Inkscape and put it into Microsoft Word. I'm going to delete my old image. You can put in like full on like glyph images, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to do basically PNG images. As long as they're above like 300 DPI, they'll look great when you print them, and they're a little easier to work with. So once I have this in here, picture tools, we're going to go to wrap text tight. Then we're going to shrink our image down to the size that we really want it to be. I want it to be about 3 lines. So I want it a little bit bigger than that. Let's zoom in here so we can really see our design as we're working. Let's do a little bit bigger than that. There we go. And I kind of want this to line up with the margin, hang over just a little bit, like this little flourish of the character here. What's called a swash. I kind of want that to hang over the edge just slightly, but I like this. I think it looks good. Might move it up just a hair, make it a hair bigger. Now what I need to do is I need to get this text to kind of wrap around inside of this image. What we're going to do here is we're going to go wrap text, edit wrap points, and then you're going to see a couple of these. You could double click and you can kind of move these around, and as you see as we move around, it's just going to create more tight wrapping of the text. Till we get the letters basically where we want them. Now right here we have the feathers kind of intersecting Helga here. So I might, what I might do here is I might just move this image up just a hair like that, make it just a hair bigger, and then I can kind of play with the wrap points a little bit more to kind of get the Helga part kind of off the letter or off of the feather a little bit. And if you really want to be like particularly anal, we can actually cut the feather out of that. Actually, let me do that because it's going to be just a little bit too hangy down. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to these edit nodes, and all I'm going to do is select some of the nodes like right here, and I can just hit delete, and then it creates this awful looking thing. We could just adjust some of these points to get kind of the shorter tail feather there. There we go, perfect. Bam, another free lesson right there. Copy, go back into our Word document, and we'll delete that one. We'll hit paste. There it is. Format, wrap text tight. We'll shrink it down as much as we want to here. I want about 3 lines worth of text. That's probably perfect. We're going to go to wrap text, edit wrap points, and we just have to move the wrap points in a little tighter to the H to make, there we go, to make it look the way we want it to look. Okay, there you go. And that is how I created these lovely little drop caps for Water of Awakening, which will be out on July 7th, 2017. You could pre-order it on Amazon.com for 99 cents for the ebook. If you want to get the paperback, please just get the paperback because you'll get the ebook for free for always. Hopefully this has been a little bit instructive for you and gives you a little bit of a glimpse into some of the design that I did on the interior. I'm pretty happy overall with how it came out. I think the interior looks great. I think the cover looks great. I might do a couple tweaks on the cover to make it just a little bit better for when you're holding it in your hands. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with how it came out, and I hope you will enjoy it as well. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join my email list, and I'll give you early access to this. I'll be providing early access to this book on Monday, I believe. So if you're on one of my mailing lists, you're going to get some free early access, and hopefully that will be valuable for you. I will see you guys next time, and have a great day.